and praying
Yes,
and calling for God's wisdom.
absolutely. All the time.
It
And praying to win.
and praying to win and praying to win and pray. Now I'm going to ask you another question that I ask some of our guests on the program. Um, do you ever have a problem leaving your work at work? And not, I know that you told me that you're newly married, 2 years,
Yes,
and you have a new child
yes,
uh, who has to be a delight.
he is.
And when you go home, you want to be daddy. You don't want to be an attorney, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Do you ever you ever have that problem of leaving the job at the job?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. It goes with it, doesn't it?
it does.
Now, another question. A while ago, you said my personality. You used that, and I wanted to get back to that. How do you? I heard a long time, many years ago, that we are three people. We are triune. We are the person that we think we are. We're the person that those around us see us and think we are, and then there's the person that we really are. Uh, if you were describing yourself on a piece of paper, how would you describe your personality?
Well, if I was going to jest with you a little bit, I'd say that I'm probably a little schizophrenic.
Okay.
And what I mean
An
by
honest attorney.
you know, I don't remember who the philosopher was, but they said, know thyself. And to me, it seems like success is not necessarily having a lot of wealth or achieving a particular position. And even if that is how you measure success, I think the first thing you have to do to achieve success is identify what your own individual attributes are so that you can capitalize on them. It's difficult to be successful if you're trying to be somebody who you're really not. You're trying to make yourself a round peg fit in a square hole. And so I think that one of the things that's important for young people, but for all people as we're growing up, as we're maturing, and we're trying to figure out, well, where do we fit in life and where do I fit in this society and why am I here, is to figure out, well, what are the giftings that I have? What are the abilities that I have? What's innate in me? And as I thought about that for years, you know, being introspective and thinking about, well, who is Mark Anderson? It was really difficult for me because there's a part of the analysis that was like, I'm a very introspective person. I think a lot about what I'm thinking. And I can wrap myself around the axle thinking about what I think. But then there's another part of me that's very extroverted. I like to be in conversation. I like to be in front of people and argue a position. I like to be in control of groups. And so it seemed to me that those two kind of propositions were inconsistent with one another. But eventually I came to recognize they're both real and they're both me. And if I have to do either one exclusively, it wearies me because that's not who I am. I need times where I'm just in a library doing research and studying. But I need times where I get out of the library and go talk to somebody about what I learned in the library. Well, my personality suits perfectly what I do because both components are there and I get to utilize them and capitalize on them.
Now, God knew that.
He did.
God knew that completely and exactly. I mean, when you first entered college, He knew exactly which road you were going to go to, and He knew the steps that you had to. I admire you for being a blue-collar preacher. You could be. I mean, you studied the theology. You know it. You know everything. Well, not everything, but you know what a pastor is supposed to do.
Well, it was really the study of theology that got me interested in the study of law. And there are times when I started interviewing for positions and a number of people were kind of taken aback by the idea that I had gone to study theology and then went into the practice of law. The conception really seems to be in our society now that the study of theology is this real sacred pursuit and the study of law is really where you get down and get your hands dirty and mix in with the evil of the world, and the two really don't have anything to do with one another.
Have you ever found times when you were talking law, but your mind was on the Word of God?
Well,
drawing upon God's laws and regulations?
yeah, I would say yes to your question, Bill, but see, what we do, I think, a lot of times is we kind of dichotomize things, and maybe this ties back in even with the conversation that I was telling you about earlier with this pastor. Sometimes I think we have wrong thoughts in our practice of religion that is a little bit different from what the Bible actually teaches that our Christianity should be. We're called to be, not to do, and if we be, then we will do. Well, you know, we compartmentalize so much in life, it seems. Here's theology, here's law, here's family time. And if God is really God and His Word is an instruction manual to us on how to live life, then it shouldn't just be for Sunday morning at church.
Right.
It should be for every day of the week. You know, how do I treat my wife, and how do I conduct myself as an attorney? Does the Word of God say anything about that? And the answer is absolutely yes. You know, it should regulate every area of life. And not just regulate, I mean, even that's really a wrong concept. It's like, give me instruction, but give me wisdom, give me principles, and even more than that, give me a relationship.
To actively walk in this, what you believe.
Yeah. Give me a relationship with a God who's really alive and who cares, and He also gives me principles about how to treat others. I can treat opposing attorneys who I disagree with vigorously, still with respect. And I should. And I endeavor to do that.
This is a learned trait, and God has instilled this into your personality. At the same time, you practice being. if I'm receiving this, you practice being.
That's right. We have to. We have to discipline ourselves.
It's like playing a piano. Every one of us would like to sit down and do a concert. Just sit down and do it. But it takes practice to do it.
That's right.
To be able to do it. And it takes practice to be a Christian.
Right.
You have to constantly practice to be that Christian. And that overflows into every portion of your life.
Right. Not just a churchgoer.
Not just a churchgoer, but on the job, the blue collar, the white collar, the no collar, on the job, off the job, everywhere.
Tuesday morning, Thursday night.
Monday morning,
Whenever it
Monday
happens to
morning, Monday morning.
I keep telling my wife at home, you know, honey, this is it. This is as good as it's ever going to get. This today, sweetie, you know, while we're getting up and the baby is crying and there's a pile of dishes in the sink, sweetie, this is life. Let's enjoy today.
Yeah.
Because this is what we've got. You know what? The past is behind us now. Let's forget about it. The future's ahead. We don't know what's going to be.
Yeah.
Let's love today.
How old is that child?
He's 11 months.
11 months.
And
11
one day.
Months. 11 months and exploring.
Yes.
Exploring and learning to be a little individual. Yeah, yeah.
Can I tell you about him just a little bit?
Yeah, we've got about 2 minutes to go.
Okay, well, it was just so exciting. I'm 50 years old now, so I got a late start as far as marriage and family. But when my wife got pregnant, we just sensed that there was something special about this child. And as we prayed about what his name should be, the phrase kept coming to me, light bearer, and I had no idea what word meant light bearer. But we started studying that, and it turned out that Luke is the word that means light bearer. So we named our son Lucas, which is a literal transliteration from the Greek of the Gospel of Luke, which is light bearer. Well, he was born last December 5th, and about 3 weeks after he was born, Kayla's father, my father-in-law, called us and told us, by the way, did you know that Lucas was born on the first night of Hanukkah, which is the Jewish festival of lights?
Mark, I'm sorry I've got to cut you off. Oh, you were on a roll there, but I've got to cut you off. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. I invite you back. I invite you to be here with us next week, same time. I'm Bill Cundiff, and this is Power Talk.
Thanks, Bill.